Alright guys, we're doing an oil change, fork oil change on a 2004 Ultra Classic. There's got to be an easier way instead of taking a whole fork assembly apart. I'm going to show you what type of oil I'm using, what I'm going to use to fill the fork back up, and hopefully this will work without taking the whole thing apart. Here's the left side fork. I've already taken out the drain plug. As you can see, it's draining right now. The drain plug goes here. It's draining into the drain pan. And I've taken out the top nut on the fork itself. I used the open end wrench. Came right out easy. I will be replacing the seal on that also. This is the left side fork, is the one that you have to take apart to actually do the oil change. We're going to see if we can do it without taking it apart. I'm just using a simple Maxima V-twin fork oil 10 weight. And this is the piece that I'm going to use to try to fill the fork back up. This syringe actually holds 2 ounces, so I'll have to do this 5 times. Try to get it back into the drain plug. It should work in theory. We'll see if it works in reality. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm going to put the fluid in a clean styrofoam cup. I got to hold the camera, so do this by hand. One hand holds the camera. Alright guys, so the idea here is to put the syringe in here, fill it up to 2 ounce mark. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here. And then to get it in here, into the drain area of the drain plug, and push the fluid back into the fork. That's pretty much it. So basically, you see what I'm doing here. I'm filling the syringe up to the 2 ounce mark, putting it into the drain hole, which fits perfectly, doesn't allow it to leak. And the fluid, if I could do this with one hand, pretty much just goes right back into the fork. Nice and easy. And there you go. That's pretty much the whole thing. That's the third one I've done. I got 2 more to go. And then I'll button her back up. Alright guys, it's in. Plugs back in. I got approximately 10 ounces in there. The reason I say approximately is because some will drip out when you're switching the syringe over. But it was fairly easy. I just added a couple of extra ounces just to make up the little bit that actually dripped. And those are my tools. That's it. This is a syringe to fill up that conventional one. The other one should be easier. You can fill it right in from the top. I just wanted to let you guys know that when I do tighten up this screw, it's a Phillips. I use a number 3 snap-on screwdriver, and I use a wrench on the nut side to so I can put pressure on the screw and tighten it at the same time so I don't strip it out. Basically, got the wrench on, use the wrench for leverage, and you push on the screw as you tighten. And you just want to snug it up. Here's the nut, got a new gasket on it. That's for the left side. We're going to just go ahead and just put it back on. That'll go right on the top. This is the right side fork, taking off the fork cap. Now you can see in here there's actually a seal that's going to be replaced. I need a screwdriver to take that out. Basically all you got to do is just get a little screwdriver and just pop that O-ring out. Whoops, where did that go? I don't know, I'll find it later. But it's out, and now we gotta drain the fork. I don't know if you can see this. This is the seal that I just took out. I found that it was on the fork. You can see where it's pretty crushed. I replace these every time I do the fluid. They're pretty cheap. Buy them by the package. Just the best way to go, just replace them for a few bucks. You won't have any leaks. We got a bunch of them here I ordered. If you're wondering, I get these from Genuine Gaskets. That's the part number. If you guys are interested in ordering them, that's for the 2004 Ultra Classic. I'm sure they'll probably fit other bikes too. As you can see, the models they fit is right there on the bottom. 1948 and up, and it gives you the models. So just keep that info if you want to get the brand new gaskets for your forks. Basically, I just run it down the plug, the new gasket. They're pretty tight. It helps to screw them down, so basically you just run them all the way down. There you have it. I pretty much just screw them down because they fit tight. I screw them down onto the plug so they're all set. So when I put the plug on, it's ready to go. So we're going to take this one out, drain plug, same setup. I'm going to push in and turn at the same time so I don't strip it with a number 3 Phillips. Alright, I broke the seal, so now she's loose. Nice and easy, she'll just pop right out as soon as I'm done unscrewing it. Pull the drain. And there we go. We'll let it drain, and then we'll fill it back up. This one, to be easy, we should be able to fill it in right from the top. And it's going to be tightened to 6 Newton meters, which is pretty much a snug It's really nothing to even worry about. Just snug it up without stripping it and you'll be all set. The 4-cap bolts, for those of you who want torques, on this model, the manual is telling me 50 foot-pounds and a 4-cap bolt, which is the bolt up top that I put the no rings on. Button her back up, and then we're gonna put the fluid into the top. So we won't have to mess with the bottom syringe and stuff like we did on the other side, which is a cartridge. Don't know why they make two different types of forks, but they do. Alright, so this one takes 11.1 ounces. Do the same thing. I'm gonna use a syringe to count what I'm doing. So it's gonna be 5 syringes, 2 ounces each. And that goes right in, right into the top. Alright guys, now she's full. She's got about 11, it calls for 11.1 ounces, right around there. I mean, as long as you don't overfill these things, like 10 ounces over, you're gonna be fine. Plus or minus an ounce isn't gonna freaking hurt anything. I don't care what anybody says. I've been doing these things myself for years, never had any problems with any bikes. Never blew out fork seals, nothing. We're done. We're gonna put the bolt back in. Or 4-cap screw, I guess you call it. And snug it down. Alright, that's about it. She's done. I'm gonna go ahead and button her back up, put the console back in. Gotta be careful with this. Sometimes, you know, being an older model, some of the wires might move around and then some of the switches won't work. So I'll be checking all of that before I put it, snub it all, you know, tighten it all back up. Right, basically, I didn't actually cover this in the first place, but this console has to come off to do the oil on your forks, okay? So basically, there's only 2 screws on this one here. There's one on each side, right below the handlebars. I don't know if you can see it, right there. Or maybe from the side. Yeah, there you go. That's a screw for the console. There's only 2. You take this one out. There's one on the other side, right here. And then that console will just come out. The first thing you gotta do though, before you even do those, is take the ignition switch cover off. When I put it back on, actually, I'll show you how to take that off. And I'll put it on, that way you guys know. So you would take the ignition switch cover off first, and then take all the assembly off with just some screws, and then take off the 2 screws on the side, and this whole cover will just pop right out. Okay, pop it out from the bottom first, and then the top will just slide down. And then you gotta just work it out of there. Now I'm gonna manually turn the switch on with the screwdriver. So basically I just put the screwdriver in there, and then we turn the system on. ACC's working, cruise control's working, speakers working, all spotlights. And I think my speakers are working because that doesn't light up anymore. So let me just turn on the radio. So everything works. Turn that off for now. And we're just gonna button everything up. Sorry about the video, guys. I'm just doing this all by myself, so it's kind of hard with one hand, holding the video camera in the other one. All right, this is all the switch stuff. I don't want to mess this up, so this is the ignition switch cover. This cover's gonna go back on. Just like so. Plastic ring goes on first, just like so. And this metal piece has to slide in. It's got a little tab on it. Slides right on your ignition. I don't think you can mess that up. You can put it upside down, so make sure you don't put it upside down. That little knob goes on the bottom. And then you got your nut that tightens everything up. Now this is just a little snug, okay, because this is all plastic, so you don't want to break this. Seriously, you don't want to break it. Just using an adjustable on this one, and just a little snug up. That's it. Don't overdo it, you will break them. All right, guys, I didn't show you this, but this is one of the first things you gotta do to remove that console. You gotta take the cover off the ignition. You see that tab right there on the bottom right? Right here, that's the tab you're gonna have to press to get the key out. It has to be in accessories. Slide it in, push down, turn off, turn the key clockwise, push down on the key, turn it clockwise. It should go all the way to unlock and lock. And it shouldn't go any further. Just make sure everything works. And that's it. Push the tab, push down on the key, turn it counterclockwise. And then this one, you gotta turn it to accessories, and it comes right out. Hey folks, I just wanted to take some time to just let y'all know that I wanted to clarify a few things. This method, it will work. It's easy, quick. Anybody can do this. The other thing is, when I was using the syringe, I forgot to mention that when you take the syringe out, just block it with your finger so the oil doesn't come back out. If you want to keep an accurate measurement of how much oil actually slips out while you're doing the oil fill, just put a clean cup underneath there, and then you can just suck it up and put it back into the forks when you're done. The other thing is, on the torques, you're probably not going to be able to get a torque wrench in there if you wanted to torque everything down. But you can get it pretty close. You just snug those things up. The best method is to use a torque wrench and torque everything according to the specifications in the manual. At some point, I will have to take the forks off and just disassemble them all. But in the meantime, this is a good way to change your fluid. Makes it easy. Anybody can do it. It's real simple. It's pretty much what I wanted to say. Thanks for watching this video. I know it's probably been a little tough to watch it. I actually used the video camera in the wrong mode, so the picture came out a little smaller than I wanted it to. Any questions, any comments, feel free to put them down there. I'll answer as many as I can. I hope I covered enough where you guys can try it on your own. All right, take care. Have a good one.